Hey there and happy Monday. So I love Mondays and I'm excited to bring you card number 3 for Lois Anderson's virtual stamp party. And I'm kind of switching back to the gears of like masculine, or not really that it's masculine, but very outdoorsy. Hey there, Tori. Tori, I have to call her, do a shout out to her, call out her name because she was my winner today on my Facebook giveaway that I did just a bit ago, and announce the winner today. I either do my like little wheel of spin the wheel thing in the background here, or have my husband pick out names or a number or something. Hey there, Carol. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Kay. And so, yeah, Tori was my winner, and she gets to pick out any bundle of her choice from the new catalog. She's already chosen. So, I don't know if it's a secret. She really liked the cherry bundle, so I wasn't too surprised that she picked that. So that's what she's going to get for being my winner. It's kind of fun every once in a while to just throw out those surprise giveaways. So that tells you should like every once in a while just check on my page too, besides the videos. Hi, Diane. Hi, Joyce. So, with the masculine theme, this is what I'm bringing you guys today. I'm using the On the Horizons bundle, and then just bringing out some different dies. I've used certain dies from there and the papers and such, and I'm always surprised at, depending on what papers I use out of that little 6x6 stack, it doesn't seem so little. There's so many different combinations that kind of come out between the purples, the blues, the greens, different things. And for those of you that love trees, Julie just chimed in here, and Julie loves trees. Hi there, Marie. And my hostess Lois loves trees, as does her daughter. So it makes it kind of a fun little project for me to share with you. And I'm just going to get my iPad going here and get straight to the card for you guys. So let me get my camera turned around here as well. Bring it straight down. I always try and do that as seamlessly as possible so it's not so shaky, but I don't know. Hi there, Donna. Good to have you on here too. So now I'll show you the card a little bit better. Right here. So I kind of put this layer a little bit of an angle, and I'll get more into that as I make the card, but my explanation with that is, yes, that's on purpose at a little bit of an angle with this being straight, because I wanted as much as I could of this embossing folder to show. So when you look at that, go, oh my goodness, it must be a Monday for Belle. No, I love Mondays. And so that was part of my on purpose thing. So Julie, I thought you might like this because you love trees. And hi there, Kathy. Welcome back to the area after traveling. So let me show you where these items come from. I'm so used to not being able to open up the new annual catalog until that starts tomorrow, but the things I'm using are from the mini catalog. Kind of just felt like, you know what, we can't show everything new from that catalog. We have to remember that there's another one that's still going until the end of June, or while supplies last. So on pages 42 and 43, you'll see this gorgeous spread of all these great ideas and inspiration that they give us. So I just kind of always like to start with the pretty paper. I don't know, I just sometimes just get stuck on the paper, but it's so pretty, you guys. I was gonna do something with this, like you don't even hardly have to do anything with this, but then I thought, well, there's so many layers just within the pretty papers. I decided to do like something a little bit more subtle with the papers, thinking that I could use some dies and really make it come to life that way. Hi there, Pam. And so this was the sheet that I used here. And as you can see, very, very just subtle with cards and, or excuse me, with colors and images. So it's hard to believe, you know, when you see that, you know, it does really make the card. Because sometimes you look and go, really? Like, what would I do with that? Well, I'm going to show you what you would do with that. So that's where that is found in the mini catalog. So let me think of how I want to get started. I think what I'll do is kind of show you how I cut this. So if you are going to copy this card, I love to give you all the techniques or any tricks right off the bat, so that if you're making it, you don't accidentally like cut into or chop up more than what you need to. So that's always like my whole thing is to try and prevent that for you guys. And with this, I am going to cut this at like 5 1/4. I always cut things left-handed, so it's going to be down here to get to the 5 1/4 and be able to see it kind of runs out up there. And I'm just going to cut off that 3/4 inch strip and set that aside. And then I'm going to cut again at 5 inches because that's what I want it to be at. But I'm going to use this piece of paper a little bit later, so that's why I want that to be that. And then this I'm just going to toss, but I love just I know it's silly, I love these little strips that have like really gorgeous little color schemes in there, but it is going in my garbage. I will not dig it out, I promise. And then I'm going to go to the 3 inch and then just cut that, and now I have exactly 2 3 inch panels, 3 by 5. So you can make 2 cards out of this, and then this I'm going to stamp the sentiment on and then cut it so you'll get 2 sentiments out of this and then 2 card fronts out of that per sheet. So it makes for a really nice dimension for that too. So now I can set this aside. Actually just let's see, just one of them is what I need. So I'll just kind of do that and that. And I think how I'll start is I'm going to pull out the Painted Texture 3D embossing folder. This is carrying over, and we've had this one for a while, and I laugh because the first few times I used it, I actually used it for I like it for ice cream and just different things, like to add texture to like different desserts and treats and things like that, or frosting like a cake. And then this time I thought, you know, if I add this to today's card, it could almost make it look like, you know, the texture of mountains or something like that. So you could take this if you wanted to and run the mountains through that. I tried some other different techniques with the mountains, and there's a couple different dyes for the mountains, but I kind of looked with everything else going on with the card. I liked keeping it pretty plain. So that's kind of what I came down to, but I also like to have you guys think outside the box. If that's something that you go, oh yeah, I think I do want to do that. So this is a 3D embossing folder. And this piece I cut so that I could do that little wonky thing. Kay says I like wonky. So I cut it 3.75 by 5 1/4. And I'll just put it in here straight. It's only when it goes on my card that it goes wonky. And because it's a 3D folder, then I'm just using plate number 4 on top of my big chunky plate number 1. And I'll just run that through quick, like so. But what I love about the 3D embossing folders, and I know I say this every time, but the deep grooves, it's just so great to get those impressions on there so vividly, and it just makes such a nice impact on your texture and stuff for your card. Hi there, Arlene. Thanks for joining in. So that's ready to go. But before we get too far with that, I'm going to grab my piece. No, let's do the rest of the die cutting right away, and then we're all done with that. So the other half of the bundle, and of course if you do the bundle you get 10% savings, so the other half besides the stamps are the horizon dies. So I'm using the mountains here, and then this little tree line here. And then there's just like a landscape piece here. And then if you wanted to, you could do mountains. And actually I'll show you, they cut out, I always put my spare pieces in here. They cut out like here, but like I said, I wanted, you know, actual chunks. And I could have layered this on top of the other, but I didn't. And then I know you've seen these fences before because I've used them a lot. And then this wood plank. But if you had grabbed the paper that looked more like beach versus wilderness, then maybe you'd like the little cabanas or houses, more landscaping type images there in the dies. So those are wonderful. So I'm going to set that aside and then just run these pieces through here quick. And I'll just bring my chunky plate 1, and whoops, there's my one piece. It was like kind of static on there. Okay, now I have to reload in 2 and my cutting plates, and now this is where we have those strips. So this is going to be my landscape and my mountains and my trees here, and because I have nice little strips in my line up today. I think that will just all cut out at the same time, nice and easy. So just run that through all at once, like so. And let's see, oh, they stuck to my cutting plate a little bit, or just stayed behind, not so much stuck. So there we have this, and then these little trees there too. I just love this die. I don't know what it is about it. Just such a fun little silhouette die. All right, let me set this over to the side so I have all this area to actually put things together now. So with this being kind of my focal point, what I'm going to do first is just kind of line these things up on there. And because I kind of wanted to cover up that little white spot on today's card, I thought, well, let's just kind of go by adding some little like adhesive here and there on the back side of this. And whoops, to not get it to be such a permanent stickiness yet, and it'll allow me to kind of play around with sticking things together. So just a little bit here and there. And then I kind of just wanted to lay this down like so, and then put that so that you see a fair amount of the mountains like that. And then also this so that that kind of just lays on top of there like so. Okay, so I have that. And now when I pick it up as one big chunk like that, that's my landscape right there. And then I can tip that over, and I want it to pop up. And by putting dimensionals on, it just almost like, I'm not a sewer, I was never meant to be a sewer, but it kind of just sews these pieces together and connects them and keeps them in place, even though there is some adhesive on there like so. So putting the dimensionals across there, it just kind of overlaps those like that. And now I can put that on here like so, and I just kind of center it like that, going across there horizontally. And now I'm going to put this onto that. I didn't even tell you probably what color I used today, but it is the Evening Evergreen here, and my card base is gray granite. So knowing that this is going to be wonky, I just kind of put that on the way I would have it. But now this I want to go straight up and down. So I just kind of do that like so. So like I said, the reason I was doing that was to get the maximum amount of that to show versus lining it up perfectly. And now this is going to be just a hair too wide for the card. So what I do is take my scissor and just kind of cut a little chunk off of here and a little bit of a chunk off of this edge too. And I'm not even measuring because all we need is like little chunks out of there. I'm just going to remeasure. Yep, and that fits still. I would cut a little extra if it didn't. And now this is ready to put on my card base like so. So a little bit kind of building it opposite of what I'd normally do. Usually I kind of do everything in the exact opposite order, but I felt like for lining things up, it really worked the best for me. I want to make sure that nothing's hanging over the edge of my card base. There we go. And now this is the part you guys are going to say, what is she doing? Now I'm going to stamp. Like, okay, like if you know me at all, stamping is what you do first before you have anything tacked down. So I'm going to trust that I'm not going to rock any edges or get anything weird happening there. Hi there, Julie. Nice to have you on here. Pale papaya. I was afraid it might look a little too peachy for my card, but when you flip over the back side of the DSP package, it does say pale papaya. So that is what I decided to try, and I'm really glad I went with that because it is kind of the perfect combination of colors. So I'm just going to kind of take this seagrass and tap out a little bit of pale papaya. And then I'm just going to stamp that on the bottom like so. And I kind of did a double stamp, but because of the texture in the paper, you hardly see that. So that just adds to that paper. So we kind of went from plain to just a subtle extra bit of texture on there, which is kind of nice. Thank you, Tori. And then the other little thing that I'm going to do is open up my gray Granite ink pad and just take these birds here. It's kind of funny because sometimes some of the birds look like they should be this way. Some of them look this way. So I always kind of go back and forth with this one just because of the way the different birds are on there. So with gray Granite ink, now I'm adding a little bit to the skyline there just so it's not so blank up there. And now for the sentiment, I'm going to open up Evening Evergreen. Remember that little strip that I had set aside here? That is just that 1/2-inch strip there, or excuse me, 3/4. Yeah, Chris, thanks. It's amazing how you can take pretty paper and just make it go from plain to pow, as she says. I love doing that. And it doesn't seem like there's too much effort to make it do that either. So this Thinking of You is from the stamp set, the On the Horizon stamp set. So I'm just inking that up with that Evening Evergreen, giving it just a few seconds to dry. And then I just snip that with my scissor. I'm not going to do anything too fancy because Lois loves masculine looking cards. And since this is for her party, I'm just going to kind of try and keep it pretty plain. Oh, and look at that. There's that pretty Evening Evergreen, just kind of a mottled fun background paper, but we're going to put dimensionals on that side. Okay, and I'm not going to dig out that little scrap to use it. I'm not, but I do love that look there. Okay, so this I was going to put it and kind of line it up there, and I thought it just did nothing special, but when I put it on this side, I liked it because it didn't cover up any of our little seagrass there. And with this being kind of a light gray granite color, you know, if I have white next to it, you can see it's not white, it's a little off-white. And then we use up that little strip that would normally just be tossed in the garbage, and it really coordinates with our project well too. So just little things like that. Whenever I can use a piece that isn't, you know, white or vanilla, it's kind of nice, even though those are definitely staples and have their purpose for sure. So I have that, and now because this is Thinking of You, it could be used for many different occasions. So for the inside, I'm going to leave it blank. It would make a great birthday card or something too, or sympathy or anything like that, but I'm just going to follow through with that seagrass stamp here and pale papaya and ink that up on the bottom like so. And then I can take my adhesive and put that in the inside. Oh, and then I have one little thing that I did add. Here we go. Let me seal that in there so we have that. But before I forget, I have this one sheet with one tiny little mini dimensional. That's not why I'm using it. But I did notice as I played with my sample a little bit that this tree, this is on dimensionals, and this tree kind of just wanted to go flat when I do things, and I don't always like when that happens. So I forgot to put this on when I put it all together. This little tiny mini dimensional fits behind that one tree perfectly, and that's why I love mini dimensionals. So now that ensures that this piece will stay popped up along with the rest of them. So it's just kind of fun. Hi there, Kay. Hi, Chris. And so with that, I thought, okay, let's add some of those little faux sea glass shapes. That just looked out of place. Even the pebbles that I love for these projects, that just didn't seem to go together either. And I kind of wanted some kind of accessory, and I'm like, you know what happens if I bring out my Wink of Stella? So that's what I did. So I'm just gonna pull the cover off my Wink of Stella, give it a gentle squeeze, and then when I go over this, it just kind of makes the fog or steam look come alive. And I'm just kind of going over the wispy parts, not up into here because that's pretty plain. So I'm kind of making it look like this effect might possibly even be part of the paper. So by doing that, it just adds a fun little shimmer shine. I'm going to see if my lighting will allow you to see that. So I'm going to kind of just keep moving it because what I see catching my camera might not be exactly what you see, but it's just a nice little subtle look on there with just that little bit of Wink of Stella. Hi there, Barb. So a little bit of this Wink of Stella goes a long way. And when I say a gentle squeeze before putting it on, I mean gentle squeeze, because otherwise it can go right over your project. And especially on today's project, when I was pretty daring to put it all together and then do my stamping and then do this, the last thing I want to do is have a puddle of brown liquid on there, and it is brown when it gets to be too much. So that just kind of finishes and gives it another texture and layer to the front of the card there, and then just the blank inside so that it's totally usable for those that are receiving the cards. So there it is. Let me get my camera turned around here. Thanks so much, guys, for your compliments. So with this is card number 3 out of Lois's virtual stamp party. So her demos are done. She's thinking of closing up towards the end of next week so that people that would like to receive her 3 cards that I've already made using her host code with a minimum $25 order, then you get her 3 cards free for watching. Thanks, Maureen, for tuning in. You might have to watch replay because I'm finishing up, but that is how you can get the cards in for free as a thank you from her and I. Tomorrow, right away, I'm kicking off the first day of the new annual catalog by doing 3 demos this week too for Brenda Stuckey's virtual stamp party, and then the following week I'll do Linda Sampson's. So I'm not doing my typical series of 10 cards this month, but just because there's hostesses lined up with the new catalog, but it also allows me to save room and time in my schedule. If more of you want to jump on board and be a virtual hostess, that's how you'll see more designs from me for doing these videos, and also it'll just give you guys more inspiration and see more of the products in use too from the new annual catalog without taking away from people that are hosting. Then I kind of take a step back from my set of 10 cards too in my host code. So if you have any questions about that, please reach out to me. Another exciting thing before I forget tomorrow is there is a signing up joining special. So if you've ever considered joining my team, Stampin' Up, they're putting together $66.50 worth of in-color products that they're adding onto the starter kit. So you pay $99, get $125 worth of product plus the $66.50 on top of that. So it's a great time. If you have questions about that, please let me know. And if you regularly receive my emails, the information is in there too, plus a link. So take care. If you have questions about ordering tomorrow for the first day, please let me know. And otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow afternoon with card number 1 for Brenda Stuckey's virtual party. Take care. Bye-bye.